Do we have a surprise intro today?
No, not today. Next week,
Oh, yeah, for Halloween-y.
don't you worry about that. I've already heard a little bit of it.
I have.
I played 3 Bug Bite songs to my roommate the other night. He was like, who has that? Man, that shit's dope.
Did you ever tell him?
I never told him.
My second favorite, Trav.
Well, no. He'll find out about it when he listens to the podcast one day.
Well, cheers and welcome to From Behind the Barcast, the podcast for bartending, service industry, drinking in general. Very special episode today. I'm Paxton Eugene. We got Clint, the mayonnaise marauder Moses. We have Travis. Clint cannot pronounce his last name ever. Jaudon.
That's right.
Sunset Kelly on the ones and twos.
Oh, that hits every time.
It hits so nice. Like I said, we got a very special episode today. Travis Jaudon is going to be with us for the full hour, as they say. Last week,
And the Patreon.
Last week, we talked about the negatives of having a podcast and working in the service industry.
Mm-hmm.
And so this week,
More of a positive. Sometimes bad tables are still good tables, or bad customers are still good customers because content.
content.
And I try to keep that in mind when I've got a shithead customer and I go, you know what? Take a deep breath. This will be good later. And that's how I justify it to myself. I can't justify it to management like that, but
It's like social Xanax. It's such a coping mechanism. It's like, I could be so mad about this right now.
But you didn't think that way before your podcast.
No, then it was just screw
But
them.
don't you think in some way you probably were wired that way to like, because now it's easy to look for content, you're saying? Like, is the first thing you think of?
Not the first, but it comes quick. Well, I'm like, oh, never mind. I'll use this later.
Something.
Yeah, well, I used to be wired.
Sick.
So before the podcast, it was like, I could choose to be, mad or whatever right now. But who's that going to help? No one.
Yeah.
But sometimes it just, it just hits.
It trickles through sometimes.
Yeah,
but
sure.
It just hits.
but more on the table that motivated that in the second half when we get to our Karens and Darrens and Darrens and Darrens and more.
Well, this past week for me, like just after we talked about the negatives of having the podcast and, being in the service industry, I got more positive feedback last week than ever. And some of it was because of the candidate interviews that I'd been doing or whatever. Mm-hmm. But mostly it was, hey, we realized you're doing this. That's a hard thing to do. And they always approach it like Paxton's just a bartender, Mm-hmm. And I like to kind of keep it that way. Like, I don't know nothing about nothing, man.
Yeah.
I don't do nothing. So if I do anything positively,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just a simple cab driver.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
It's the easiest bar to get over. It's the lowest.
Yeah. This ain't limbo, guys. It's
so if people run into you in the streets, Travis, how often, like, what would you say the percentages of them wanting to talk sports or literally just takes you've had on your podcast, the Hot Grits podcast, by the way?
No, it's almost always people that want a take, or like this time of year, it's certainly, and this time of week, it's certainly like, oh, check out my fantasy lineup, as if like I'm some.
Oh, that you're a guru.
And I'm not, like, I'm notoriously bad at fantasy football. But or they want to just ask me like what I think of the Falcons win, so they can tell me what they think of the Falcons win.
Oh, so they're asking you questions so they can talk to you about it.
Yeah, but it's like I don't like nobody ever asks me like who I like in this game and then gives a shit about what I say. They just want to talk sports, and that's their end.
Literally just the setup. I'm going to ask a question just so I can give my take.
And whatever you say, they're not listening to.
And they've never listened to the podcast. It's never because it's always something that I just spoke 40 minutes on, probably.
We experienced that quite often. People are like, hey, I want to be on your podcast. Yeah. What's the last episode you listened to? Oh, what was your favorite topic in the last 2 weeks?
I told you guys the last time I was on that somebody at, I don't know if I told you this. Somebody at a bar that I don't frequent, like it was a hole in the wall bar, good time, but like
Jerry's
I
Lounge?
hadn't seen him in a long time. No, that's my go-to hole in the wall. This makes Jerry's Lounge look like
the Windrose at the
upper
South Side.
tier establishment. So at this kind of a place,
the Long Branch,
is where y'all's listeners are. because this was like a year ago, and the guy it was like, let me tell you this, just let me finish first. But these two guys, they do I don't know if they both work at Huckapoo's, but one of them does, and they do a podcast.
Nobody knows what they both do.
You should go on there. You should go on. And I was like, yeah, dude, like, they do a podcast. They do it every week. And I've been on there once. And also, he had never listened to one of my episodes of Hot Grits, and he was telling me about y'all's podcast. And I was like, oh, sick. That's sick for those type of guys. Awesome.
Did he say you should go on there after you had already been on?
It was after Spencer and I came on the first time. And so, but y'all were still that was
very early on.
That was like 70 or 80 episodes in for y'all, right?
Not even that.
Yeah, maybe
60s.
not even that. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like looking back, it doesn't. That's a lot of episodes before. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of.
I mean, it doesn't.
It's a lot of sandwich.
That's a lot of sandwich.
They start to go by slower now, though. I think like
Speaking of a lot of sandwich,
that's how you get me off of it. I like that.
This drink is a lot of sandwich. So we are drinking a hot honey, spicy old fashioned with the Savannah Bee hot honey that we were right here on the table that you can't see, it's invisible, and with the bottle of Bulleit. So in order to make a spicy hot honey, like a fall drink, you would only want to cook something down, the honey down with like maple honey, and you'd have cinnamon, cardamom, nutmeg, and stuff. I already had this fabulous hot honey gifted to us by Shay from Savannah Bee Company, so I was like, I'll just use that, and it is potent. So I took that, and instead of muddling, I went with the shaking method because of the honey. You can't muddle up honey real well, so you need to just beat the shit out of it with ice. So hot honey, a little bit of nutmeg, which is on the tip of my nose right now, and is going to be driving me crazy throughout this entire segment.
What's muddle?
Muddle's when you put the fruit in the bottom of the drink and you smash it to get
To muddle.
to muddle it. You muddle it in there like with a messel.
I'm gonna work that.
Messel and porter. Give it to me.
Porter and mestle.
I'm sorry.
That's not either.
Pestle and mortar.
There
oh
we go.
That wasn't even a bit.
No, for neither one of them. It's just a bad duo
This is
right
why
there.
you don't drink fruit.
Yeah. And so anyway, after I pestled and mortared.
Well, once you said Muddled
that's
Honey,
illegal.
I was like, oh, that's a great band from Seattle. Muddled Honey.
It's like
So-
a racehorse name.
So yeah, pestle and mortar, muddled honey. That's what horses turn into,
Puddle
anyways.
muddle.
Yeah. Well, I'll glue this back together. Speaking of horses,
Yeah, get
all right.
us there,
So,
get us there,
so
Clint.
Savannah Bee hot honey, a little bit of nutmeg, some fresh squeezed orange, a little bit of lime juice, some Bulleit bourbon,
Bouillet, my favorite
some
bourbon.
Angostura bitters, and then I shook it like a bad baby and poured it over a giant round cube here. Added a little cinnamon stick, some anise from the garnish, a little cherry squeezed and dropped in there, lemon, orange.
It's a busy cocktail.
It's a busy-
Like that.
it's a
It really
busy
is
cocktail.
giant round cube.
Oh, yeah.
He's a square, I'm around. I actually have a square on the bottom, a T.
I see that because you guys are similar, but not exactly.
It's square hole.
Different people.
Yeah, he's got a more rounded glass than I do. It's good. Now, the first one I made, Pax took a sip and goes, nope.
Nope.
Too much hot honey. Too much hot honey. And then I was remaking it. I made passions from the remnants of the first one, so it was kind of diluted. And I went to pour the honey in mine, and I looked out the window for a second and looked back, and I poured 2.5 tablespoons of hot honey. And was like, nah. Thankfully, it coagulates. So I was able to get most of it out of there. Still a lot of sandwich.
No, not thankfully that it coagulates, because if you remember the last time when we did have Shay on,
Yeah.
and we were using the hot honey for cocktails, then you guys had left, and I had the end of my cocktail, which I didn't realize. Honey sinks to the bottom of,
The honey and the nutmeg are on the bottom right now, yeah.
and I finished it.
That's when you got to muddle.
I should have muddled. I finished
pestled when you
it,
should have mortared.
and I basically took every bit of that hot honey to the throat, and for the next hour,
Well, for those of you that didn't tune in
Hell
to
yeah,
that episode of the
tough guy.
podcast, so Shay came by my house on a Saturday for the football or whatever, dropped off the honey. He gave me 3 bottles of hot honey with the label on there, and then and some honey for me to have for the house because I drink hot tea. So like a liter of honey unlabeled. And I'm like, oh, this is just regular honey for me. So I make some tea.
From Savannah Bee Company.
Savannah Bee Company, and when I use, I'm fortunate enough to I have had a very high level access to honey, of very good honey. So I'll use more than most people would. at this
industrial levels of
yeah.
honey.
Don't rub
so,
it in.
So I dumped this thing in there. I'm like, I'll probably put 3 or 4 tablespoons of honey in there like I normally do, and I stir it up, and I let it cool nice. I take a big sip of it's hot honey, just and like, I mean, You want to wake up from the tea, just use the hot honey sometimes.
Yeah, I've been there, brother.
So now I use it to cook. When I do ribs, I'll put it on there because it kind of cooks off the heat. So you get a little bit of spice, but it's not like just destroying you. But I forgot about it, how much that honey really hits. And
I didn't.
Is that what made it like when I tasted it earlier before the lemon? Is that
lemon,
what made
yeah.
it spicy?
Yeah, it was the
hot honey?
Yeah, it was the hot honey.
Because it didn't come. It came like 10 seconds after.
It's a habanero honey, yeah.
Habanero honey.
Yeah.
Yeah, it waits a few minutes. It stands at the front door, and it's like, you don't think I'm here. And then the Ring camera pops on, and then, and then it shows.
Peeking around the corner, dude.
And then it honey's right in your mouth.
Tiptoeing on a marble flow.
But it was delicious, and this is pretty delicious. Also, you know what's delicious? I'm going to shout out our boy Studwell. I posted a picture to our Instagram.
Oh, wow.
Just a quick little video. It says, this week's fall-inspired cocktail. And our boy Studwell, who works at Washington Prime in Connecticut, winner of
didn't
Best
know
Steak in
last
Connecticut.
week.
Studwell is just an incredible name.
Yeah, yeah. And
So,
so
dude.
he makes a drink called the Number 99 restaurant. He just looks at just the ingredients I've got on the table. You can see all you can see is the bitters, the bullet, and the honey, and the 95 things in the drink. He sends me back 2 ounces of bourbon, 0.05 ounce sweet vermouth, 1 ounce lemon juice, 0.5 maple syrup, 3 dashes cardamom bitters, 2 dashes lavender bitters, garnished lemon twist, and star anise. He's not far off.
Yeah.
And this was,
Rain Man Studwell.
Just your everyday Studwell.
and unbeknownst to him, in
That's
this picture,
incredible.
there's no lemon because these oranges were barely an orange. But Paxton had gone to get something from the grocery store, and I was like, "Hey, get some lemons." And he's like, "Huh?" And then I get this. I'm like, he knew the ingredient we were missing was.
And how long after the post did he? What couldn't have been too long.
10 seconds?
10 seconds. I mean, it was very fast. So shout out to him for that. That was he
I
knew
guess, but I'm worried about Stud. That's quick.
And can we address something real quick? I haven't said it yet,
3
but
ounces.
Yeah. Well,
but
yeah.
when Clint says orange,
Oh yeah, that's a bad one.
he says orange.
Orange. My sister has called me out for that for years and years and years. I say orange.
I've been hearing you say it all day, and I've been waiting until this moment right
Yeah.
now.
And if you could see my shirt, it says
I wasn't going to bring up the shirt.
orange is ugly.
Tough day for the shirt.
Yeah, tough day for the shirt. It's already got some orange on it too.
Orange is ugly, but it tastes great.
It does taste great. Yeah. It's ugly. Hey, you all know those chicks. They're ugly as hell. They taste great. Orange is only a light switch away.
Hey, she's got a great personality.
Yeah. Orange does have a great personality.
She's an orange 7.
You gotta get to know her.
She's a Tennessee 7.
She really is a good person.
It's a Clemson 6 and a UGA 4.
Just the other day, I discovered that we all know who Gordon Ramsay is, right?
Heard of him, yeah.
He does 9 million shows already.
He says orange.
Yeah, he's an orange guy. So they're redoing Kitchen Nightmares, which its first run was from like 2007 to 2013 or something like that.
Okay.
Literally 80% of the restaurants that he went and fixed were closed within like 3 months after it.
Damn.
He was kind of a curse to him, whatever. So they revamped.
I don't want him in my Georgia Florida
the
game.
anti-John Taffer.
He's like me going to Georgia Florida games.
Oh my God, 0-4.
So now they've done 3 episodes of a new current season, and it's in the U.S. And I saw the absolute best clip from one of the episodes because the chef there, he called himself the Culinary Gangster. It's in New Jersey. He wears the Culinary Gangster shirt underneath his chef's coat.
As one does.
As one does.
I mean,
So the guy's sending out all this terrible food, well, to Gordon Ramsay's taste, but Gordon really doesn't like anything at all. So he keeps putting a garnish of one long chive on top of every single dish that he puts out. Gordon keeps sending the chive back with the waitress. You can tell this waitress hates the chef so much, which is like a common thing with asshole chefs treating their waitresses or their servers like shit. She keeps going back to him like, hey,
Travis.
Gordon said this tasted like shit. So this guy, the Culinary Gangster,
Well, what I found,
the Culinary Gangster trying to be
exactly what I thought he looked like.
trying to be passive aggressive, he sends his business card with a chive on top of it back to Gordon's table.
Oh no! Like he's like, I'm better than you.
that's a declaration of war and some.
Yeah. That's the wrong guy to get war with.
And he F around and find out because his last name was Fortunato or something like that.
Yeah.
Gordon Ramsay goes, go tell him his last name's Unfortunato for his.
Oh, No way. First take, Gordo.
Oh man, first
First
for
take,
real,
Gordo.
first take.
Gordo wins.
But the thing that I took away from it, each time the
boy.
waitress went back to tell this jerk off chef what Gordon was saying, the pleasure she was deriving from being able to tell this dude who's probably been an asshole to her entire career at this restaurant. He's like, why are you smiling when you're telling me that Gordon told me my food tastes like shit? She's like, I'm just the messenger.
So he was
really
getting
is
paid
a staple,
$100,000 a year.
They were paying him $100,000 a year.
The restaurant's failing, but fortunately for Fortunato, whatever, Unfortunato,
It's Mr. Unfortunato.
he no longer works at the restaurant. In fact, he never came back after the film crews departed.
Yeah, you took him.
He wanted to talk shit to Gordon Ramsay. Gordon Ramsay scared him out of his own restaurant.
He retired completely from chefdom
He
after
buried
20
him.
years.
He buried him.
Literally
Buried
retired
him.
from chefdom after 20 years. Says, I'm going back to work with the family. I was like, oh, you're on a trash route
Not
now.
so gangster now, are you? He's in a culinary unemployment line.
It's pretty unfortunate.
He's washing dishes at a restaurant now. I hope. That is unfortunate. That's what a good diss though. A good name diss.
Yeah.
You can't be a good name diss. What you can beat is waking up to a bunch of dick pics from your dad.
True.
I mean, oh, yeah, we've all.
Let him get there. Let him get there.
I don't know if beat was the right word for that, but so yesterday morning I don't have to worry about it. I woke up yesterday morning
This is the Patreon stuff?
to a bunch
with
of
it.
no, this is not even that. To a bunch of stone dick pics from my dad. My dad's in Italy right now. So my father's in Italy on vacation for his 10th anniversary with my stepmom, and they're having a great time. But he sent me like a couple pictures here and there, but he decided to send me like 4 different stone statues with pricks, and I'm like, what the hell? And then it's like one other thing was like, I'm like, what? And the other thing looked like a circumcision tool. I'll show you on the break. I'm like, what the hell? So I'm like, Dad, that's a lot of dicks. He goes, yeah, little ones too, huh? I'm like, what's your dick gonna look like if
Wait
you're
a second.
standing around for like 2 hours getting a model
Like it would
made?
have been a better thing to wake up to like for average size dick pics. Like,
Yeah,
what-
erect. I mean, come on, Jesus, come on,
why is
Dad.
that? Like,
I mean, they're always hard.
The leaning tower of penis.
it's always going to be funny to
Yeah,
do that.
and they're all uncircumcised because it was thousands of years ago.
Yeah, they didn't have cigar cutters back then.
Nothing's worse when you see like a Roman piece, like an old Spartacus, and all the women have big fake tits and shaved pussies. You're like,
The first comment underneath it is Studwell. He was like 32C.
oh, the quick callback.
Damn, son.
Damn.
That's why we have Travis on.
That's why we have
Wait,
Travis.
Is he still over there?
Yeah, they're coming back next Sunday.
I want to go I want to go to like where they travel by boat, like all in the city.
Oh,
Is that Rome?
That's Venice.
Venice.
Venice. Yeah, it's like flooding, but so
And the
there was
guys, like, at the front of
they
the
went
boat?
like they went to somewhere where there was like rough.
Gondola.
Yeah, rough waters, like by like a cliff with like rough waters. My dad's like, yeah, Lola went down there in the rowboat. No thanks. It's like a 3-person rowboat. He's like, I'm not getting out there. I don't want to be swimming at 72.
I'll see you at the edge, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
I'll
going
get
to
you
celebrate his 72nd birthday.
Classic American.
Yeah, 72nd birthday in Italy here on the 26th. So we don't do happy birthday,
hell
happy
yeah.
birthday, Dad.
Happy birthday.
happy
I know
birthday.
how you feel about happy birthday.
Yeah, we have more on that on Travis's podcast.
So we're all we all go out to bars. We all drink. We all. Kelly, you just happen to be a breezy cab driver.
I am.
You drive drunk people around safely.
Try to.
Whenever we're not on Tybee, if we're downtown, we take Ubers and Lyfts and things like that. And typically, since we are in the service industry, and maybe even if you aren't in the service industry, I think it's sort of a prerequisite that you tip if they were cool,
Car didn't smell like.
car didn't smell like
patchouli.
shit, if they didn't talk on the phone the whole time, if they whatever.
They didn't try to sell you their CD.
If I had to do, like, if I made them wait 2 or 3 minutes, I always like,
Oh yeah, you're getting a lot more money.
even if they're not, yeah, I got to give them like $1 a minute after like 2 minutes or something.
Even if they don't seem perturbed by having to wait, you're still like, hey, I made you wait.
Yeah,
You tip
up
them.
to like a max.
And if they safe driving, that's a big one for me.
Damn, you guys have a lengthy list.
I mean, look, I just want to arrive safely. I hate when I'm in the back and they turn around and look at me. I'm like, no. I like to sit in the front too because I have long legs. And so when they're rude about that, they're like, I'm like, can I sit in the front? They're like, I guess. I'm like, I have long legs.
do you sit?
It's like a Toyota Corolla.
I sit in the front. If I'm with a group,
Well, yeah, from the group, I'm definitely the front
By
guy.
yourself though.
by myself, if they let me sit in front, I will.
Yeah.
So I'm always back right. They're going to be where they can see me.
If I'm in the back, if it's a big car, I'm back right. Like, if it's a Lincoln Town car, I'm getting in the back seat.
If it's a van though, I start stressing out.
Backseat
'cause
van, for
there's
sure.
an automatic
Oh, the door? Yeah, you're like, what do you do here?
And it's always and she always just gets out and runs around and tries to open it. And they never explain how to open it. They're just
No.
like, let me do it.
I've gotten one where there was a sign on the window that said, I'll open the door for you.
Yeah.
Don't touch it.
Don't even think about it.
Yeah.
Don't touch this door.
I've done that more, just running up and grabbing it, inside and outside. I think if I was a Lyft or an Uber driver, as soon as I pull it, I'd be like, let me hit the button for you. Just
But
wait.
part of that, I guess they don't want the wrong person to get in the cab,
You're
though.
a front seat guy?
Right, yeah.
I don't front seat in a van. That's weird as hell.
I front seat because I love living inside the awkwardness.
Yeah.
Especially if we're in a group.
If we're in a group,
That's getting inside of it, dude. That's
see, if you're in a
getting
group,
real
I'm
in there,
not going to
man.
put 3 deep in the back. I'm going to sit in the front because I'm usually the person who's kind of
Yeah, put
navigating
2
the
in the back
situation.
and 1 in the front.
Yeah.
I get it.
Kelly's seen it. Everyone that I'm in a group with sees it. I sit in the front, especially if I feel like it's going to make the driver a little uncomfortable.
Or more comfortable.
Or well, yeah.
Oh my God.
That doesn't.
You put your hand on their leg?
It gives me a raging semi if they're uncomfortable, and just a normal semi if they're comfortable.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, I feel you.
So
So
we all tip this. We all tip them
Yeah, I tip
typically.
cash, usually.
You know, and always do cash. It's like, hey,
5-star rating.
and if they're nice, they get a $2 bill in the tip from me. People love $2 bills.
What?
Yeah, I got a bunch in my wallet. I rock the 2s all the time.
Then you can be a front seat guy then.
I had a layover where we just couldn't get out that night, so we had to wait till the next day. So I took an Uber to the hotel, and they had sent my luggage already with my Xanax in it for the flight. And I was telling the Uber driver, I was like, "Yeah, this is the unfortunate situation." And he goes, "Look, man, I'm not supposed to do this, but like, I do have a couple 0.5 Xanax if you want them." I was like, "Yeah."
Shit, yeah. What city was this?
Charlotte.
Yeah.
I was like, here's $30, man, as the cash tip, whatever.
Huge.
Such a, like,
Smart move. I wonder if he had like 7 other kinds of pills on him, though. He's like,
You probably
value-
could just.
He's got a
done it
whole
on
pharmacy.
Uber Eats. You probably could have just gotten like,
Uber Eats.
yeah, like Taco Bell.
Uber,
Xanax Eats.
Uber
couple
Eats
of
pills.
school buses, dude,
Uber Eats
like-
pharmacy.
So I've been posting on Facebook a little more lately because of doing the candidate interviews and stuff like that. And thankfully, I opened it today because the first thing I saw was a receipt, and on the receipt it was a big bill, like a credit card bill, and 0 tip, and it said tip your Lyft driver next time. The story behind it is the same Lyft driver picks up the same bartender every time she gets off of her shift, and the bartender does not tip
What?
the Lyft driver. So the Lyft driver says, fuck that noise. I'm going to her bar, sitting there drinking with my friends, and then when the bill comes, 0 tip.
Tip
I
your
just
lip
feel like
service.
there has to be something there, dude. Like
That's so well played.
You have to rate them before you get see the tip.
something. Like we need to hear her side of the story.
The bartender side?
Yeah.
Okay, let's play guess what this person
what
was.
could rationale-
Hey,
what-
I'm gonna go. It was a chain establishment she worked at, like a Buffalo Wild Wings or an Applebee's.
Okay.
It was not. It wasn't like a local bar.
She only lives like a mile away.
And she would have had when you work at a local bar, you tend to get a little bit more nuances, or a bar with a lot of regulars.
Okay.
I'm gonna think it was like a Hooters or something like that.
Same driver routinely means like there can't be a lot of other bars opening.
That's true.
So
I was
feel
going
like-
to say the same driver routinely. If the bartender didn't like the driver, she wouldn't continually use it.
Yeah, 'cause you can rate them like if you rate somebody like 2 stars, you won't get them again.
That's what I'm saying. Or she popped up and I was like, oh, it's Michelle again.
Well,
I'm
Uber,
not
if you give them
riding.
4 stars, they're like, "What was wrong?" It's like that's not 5. It's just they're like, "Well, what happened wrong?" Like, "Hey, it just wasn't 5."
So now the
Sometimes it's
Lyft
not 5
driver plans his attack and goes to her turf.
This was definitely a woman. I don't know why I know it was a woman. It was a woman.
It feels,
Was it?
the handwriting looked like
Yeah, it just feels like a roommate. A female move.
a roommate.
Sorry, I was reading my phone while
Wait
trying
a
to talk.
second, the Lyft driver was a woman?
I don't know. We don't
We're
know
just
any
guessing.
of the. Yeah, we're just
We're
guessing.
guessing.
Oh, that changes everything if it's girl on girl.
Yeah, it does.
Girl,
You don't need me to tell you that.
okay, was it the
Clint, you know. Your
vindictiveness
dad, dude.
of girl on girl? The vindictiveness of girl on girl?
That's girl on girl vindictiveness right
Yeah.
there.
That's just science.
I mean, look, I'll fight a guy for fantasy football. I don't give a shit.
With a bag of nickels.
So I've got a little question for you guys for our weekly.
It's the quote of the week.
Priceless. I hope that was on camera. Does it count as shitting at work if you just shart? I'm not going to say who said that quote, but somebody we know doesn't like to shit anywhere besides their house.
It's not rhetorical, right?
Okay, so if you don't, here's the thing. I got a guy I know. We'll just call him Splint Spling,
hell
who does
got
not
a guy.
like to shit at work. And a few weeks ago, he works with one of his best friends, a guy named, we'll just call him Brian, that's his name. This guy may have tried to gamble.
Sup, B?
Late in the evening, takes a little gamble. Something happened down there. So,
Happens to the best.
so question. I asked him,
I have questions. But
does it? Not me. Somebody else did. Does it count as shitting at work if you just shart? He almost shit his pants laughing at that question because he knew immediately what I was talking about and who I was talking about. And I was like, he's like, if you don't wipe your ass, then you're okay. Is what he said.
That's your line?
That's what he said. He said. My line is if you can get to keep your underwear, you didn't really shit.
I think like if you had to like report back to a doctor and he asks how many times did you shit yesterday, and you look back, you're gonna have a gut reaction, and it's gonna be either like
3 or 4. If it's 4, that
I
was.
don't think all sharts are like the same, made the same.
Now some sharts are
You
full.
know
I've never had,
whether
thankfully,
you
at
shit.
this age, like a shart where I was like I've had, I think 2 in my life. Not this was one of them, but where I went and looked and was like, whew, no damage done. And
We
like
don't have to stat shame. I
did a
mean,
little cursory.
2 to 6.
See, I don't wear the underwears,
Oh yeah.
so I
at work?
And what if you're wearing your
Ever.
brown? If you're wearing your brown pants,
So I can never even take the chance. So if I have a squirrely,
I'm learning
oh man,
this, dude.
we're losing so many people right at this moment. I can think of a few of
This is
them.
a shitty topic.
You know
Hey!
what? We'll save that for the Patreon.
We'll save it for the Patreon,
Yeah,
but,
we'll
hey,
save that
it's
for
not a bad
Patreon.
quote of
It's
the
only
week.
me
Yeah.
again, dude. I can't help it.
well, I hate to. Oh, we're not going to do it. You want me to do?
let's just flush that.
Let's take a little break. Let me ask you one question before we go.
Sure.
Who knows more gossip, a barber or a hairdresser? They're both known to get gossip. Gossipy's in the barbershop, gossipy in the hairdressers. Who hears more gossip in a day, a barber or a hairdresser? Someone who cuts men's hair or women's hair? Let's leave sexuality out of it because I'm going to guess people that cut gay people's hair get all the gossip.
I have my answer.
Okay.
I have my answer.
Okay.
All right, we'll see you in the second half then. Hey guys, Paxton here. I hope you're enjoying the show. And if you are, there's a few simple things that you can do that will really help us out. Number one, whether you listen on Spotify, Apple, Google, or wherever, you can drop us a rating and a review if you haven't already. Positive or negative, we'd love to hear from you. And the more ratings and reviews that we receive, the more we'll be put in front of new audiences. Also, if you listen on Spotify, you can easily share episodes to your Instagram stories. If you watch us on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. You might not be. And finally, why not shoot us an email with any service industry or just general stories that you'd like us to share? We always love hearing from you, and we love using your stuff. The email is FromBehindTheBarcast@gmail.com. Can't wait to hear from you, and enjoy the second half of the show. And welcome back to From Behind the Barcast with guest Travis. Clint can't pronounce his last name, Jaudon, from the Hot Grits podcast. Now, where we are now, this is our third podcast of the day, of the
Basically,
evening
yes.
already.
It's my third seat of the day.
And before you recorded with us, you had an interview.
With Ben Moore, we previewed Georgia Southern, Georgia State this week. It's called Modern Day Hate. I don't know if you guys are into that rivalry name, but
No, not at all.
you guys into rivalry names at all?
I mean, yeah, everyone but that one. Clean old-fashioned hate.
It's a super riveting interview. You guys should go listen to.
That's what I'm saying.
Trust.
We're saying,
Trust.
well, that's the first recording
That's how I'm
down
going to fall asleep tonight.
down in my murder dungeon that he had never seen before.
Yeah.
So just before the break.
And then before the break, we asked the question, why does a barber know more gossip than a hairdresser, or why does a hairdresser know more gossip than a bartender? Paxton, do you have an answer to this riddle?
All right. So we're talking about a male barber or any barber that cuts male hair, basically. The chit chat that happens is it'll be a topic will start, and if it's gossip or whatever, and then that topic stays on that topic for an extended period of time, right? It's like, hey, did you hear that a dude got injured during this game? They're going to chit chat about that for the next 10 minutes. If you have a woman hairdressing another woman's hair, cutting another woman's hair, coloring another woman's hair, she'll be like, hey, did you hear that?
That's a lot of ladies.
Did you hear that Jessica, did this? And I go, I did. But did you hear that so-and-so did this? And they'll go, oh my God, yes, I did. And then they'll go, but wait, did you hear that so-and-so did this? So the topics just continually pile on top of each other. As a bartender, someone tells you anything like that, you literally don't have time to really.
You're not sitting with one person, though. You're moving on to different other people.
Exactly.
And even if you do have time, they can't
want
prove
to.
that you
You
do.
don't want
So,
to,
so you're
yeah.
saying
So you
hairdresser.
have to
Hairdresser gets more amount of topics.
pick a side.
Okay. Well, okay. What's your answer?
Mine's a lock. I mean, this is a lock. The barbershop, which is what LeBron James is most famous for. He's also a basketball player. But he has a TV show on HBO called The Barbershop where he discusses big heavy issues that he's an expert on. And that doesn't happen at the hairdresser box or place or the hairdresser studio?
The salon.
Salon?
Salon,
Salon.
Salon.
They say it in Italy.
but they just talk about
But in
one
the
or two topics
But
in the barbershop.
it's elevated. It's gossip, but it's like world problems. Like, is China good or bad?
Why are boobs good? Why is the sky blue?
So
Yeah.
my
So
thought.
I think barber is 100%.
I'm on barber because mine's a simpler answer. The barber sees more clients a day, so you're going to get more chances for new
Numbers
topics,
guy.
and you're going to get a lot more opportunity. With the hairdressers, that process takes so long. You got Sally in the chair for 2 hours,
That's
3 hours,
weak.
4 hours.
Sample size.
Sample size increases output.
I'm glad you played
the
cleanup
right
on that
answer,
because
though.
that's the right answer. You win. That's the right answer. I'm glad you played cleanup.
So he asked his own question and got it right.
Yeah. That's called a setup.
Who came in second out of me and Pax?
You, obviously.
Come on, man.
Shit, you came in third, Pax.
It's just because I went first. Everyone after, anytime
You were
you
so
go first.
brave.
Hell, Bobby, you could come in second. Hell, Ricky, you could
You're so brave.
even come in third.
If you're not first, you're last.
That don't even make sense.
So we talked about how much people, corner you about sports and your take on certain things in sports, in your social and normal life because of the podcast that
Yeah,
you do.
they
You know?
think that I just don't know how to talk about anything else. Also, like,
They're like,
Yeah.
I'm just a bartender. I don't know how to talk about anything else either. People would be like, hey, I saw you interviewed, Brian West was on and, a couple
Yeah.
other people. Immediately, they're like, so what do you think about Proposition 32.8? And, do you think they can allocate the funds from Atlanta for that? I'm like, I literally
They better.
don't know anything.
it's the equivalent of like, oh, you're a baseball fan? Who was the second baseman for the White Sox in 1998? Then,
Yeah, and you're like, I don't.
and you're just like, what, dude? Like, I also have sex sometimes. Like,
And you better come second then, too.
yeah. Hey,
Hey, quick call back.
the kingmaker.
I also understand that, like, if people want to chat, the first thing they want to do is find the most common ground possible.
Yeah.
But I sort of have a different approach. Like, if I meet, like, a drummer that I really like,
Yes.
I don't ask them about drum stuff. Because imagine how much they talk about that shit.
What's your take on the violin?
Yeah.
Cello, violin, what do you think?
I'd rather be like, if I know they have any other interest besides, the main thing that they're known for, like,
But see, you don't like talking about politics and stuff like that because, like, but see, I'm so down to do that because I just think about everything, like, in terms of, like, Michael versus LeBron and, like, sports. Like, I don't take it, like, I don't judge people off of who their favorite team is. So, like, but that's so, I realize that most people think about politics way differently, like, but, like, if people could talk about politics the way they talk about sports and just argue, like, but then just wear their own jerseys and go their separate.
sure, you're not trying to change the other person's
And we would
mind.
get better at talking about something that we're not supposed to be talking about,
And the concept of, like, I don't mind having a discussion about whatever topic with someone,
Usually it's impossible.
but it's but typically people are trying to skew you or change your mind about something or make you think the things that they think.
And when you've been drinking, it's often hard to change your mind about things.
See, nobody changes their mind sober, but I'm convinced of it. Like, nobody changes their mind on, like, the most important things that people think and vote on are the things that they're going to never change their mind on their whole life. And for me, that's the opposite of, like you should think differently at 25 than you do at 45. And if you don't, then
Yeah, then you've made some.
And your core like values should be sort of malleable as you grow because the world changes just as much as you change as a person.
Yeah.
And the circumstances surrounding whatever topics you're talking about, they change. You know, it's fluid constantly. So you can't hold a hard line on anything forever.
So I say talk about politics
few
at the
things you
bar
can hold the
as
hard line
often,
on forever.
and religion.
But I try not to talk about politics or religion as often as possible. Wait, I try not to talk
It's
about
the first thing
at
I
all.
do when I walk in.
Hey, everybody. So Catholicism.
Hey, who'd you vote for?
What's up with
And is God real?
Yeah, did you vote for it? Is God
Coors
real?
Light, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when
So
we
it is real, huh?
So when we had Brian
Yeah,
on,
it's crazy Israel thing, huh?
when we had Brian on, it was
the
super,
bomb.
it was super nice to just come at it from a humanity standpoint, because typically what I've found when talking to people who are in that public space, they're expecting people to sort of attack or try and do some gotcha stuff with them just to elicit a reaction or, you know, stir something up.
I noticed that in your one-on-ones, like, so Brian is a little more polished. You guys would agree
yeah.
on that, like.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he's just like the way I described him to you is like
He ran the
Brian
Home
West is
Association
easy
for
to be
years.
around.
Yeah,
and
he
I don't
was.
know if that's like, I mean that as a genuine like top class compliment, but
We didn't ask the hard-hitting question. Paxton and I both were wondering, how old was this man?
oh, I
so
had
instead
some I had some follow-up questions from that.
Yeah, so instead of asking Travis, who apparently known him forever, we're asking anyone else we knew who's known him forever. Paxton and I were just trying to guess. I'm trying to do Facebook stalking of him and his wife to figure out stuff.
No,
And,
that's
like,
good though. I think that's good.
Yeah, and like he's a very mature person, but he looks younger than he should for having 6 children.
3 out of college already.
Yeah, he's a tired his age. Are we gonna?
So one of his
You're not
sons,
doxing me.
one of his sons is the same exact age as me, and like I basically came up with him, and that's how I got to know Brian and Miss Becky, his wife, and
You said Brian and Miss Becky.
well, that's how I mean anybody that knows, like Mr. Brian would be the first one to tell you that. Mr. Brian, that's like.
Not
I mean,
Mr.
that's-
West.
Yeah, no, I think like if
this
when
is
he wins
pre-Kanye,
when he
so-
wins the mayor, I think I probably got to go in the contacts and change like probably Mayor Brian West.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
But
Any Mayor West, just because of Mayor Adam West.
I mean I just called her Shirley the whole time. Every time I talked to Mayor
Yeah.
Sessions.
I mean, I called Jason
One
'cause
time.
I guess because of knowing him more,
Being
socially.
around him all the time. Yeah, and I'd been around Brian socially a little bit, you know, just from him
Changing
coming
to
in.
MB, Mayor Brian.
Just from him coming into the bar, just in passing, you know, and I got the vibe off of him that he was cool already. So then when he came up and did the show with us, he emanated a relaxed, measured coolness that was it was comforting because he didn't seem on the defensive ever about anything.
Yeah, he's not like married to like ideal, and I guess like when you're running for mayor of Tybee, it's not like running for president where you have to like state your platforms and stuff. But like, I thought like every time I hear him, he says something that's like, I'm like, oh, that makes a good bit of sense. Like
A lot of logic.
what he was saying about like how he's very careful. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was something about. So I'm always very careful about instituting like the banning of
Rules.
something or something to
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Like,
because once you
he's,
ban
like,
something, it's so hard to
careful.
unban it.
Yeah, and like just like to have that, like to know that that's where his mind, like that makes me be like, okay, I'll ride behind this guy.
He doesn't want to set down a hardline regulation about anything because, like I said, things change year to year, month to month, and it might not be applicable anymore.
Right.
But one thing he also didn't do was do the mayor speak where everything was vague.
Yeah, which
you know?
is so annoying because it's like,
I hate the
dude,
non-answer.
we're not in New York. Like
He
it's
did it
not
for
a major
he did it for
media
one
market.
thing.
You'll be all right.
I said, "Did you grow up here?" He said, "Yeah, I went to high school here." And like he almost said which high school it was. He didn't tell us which one it was.
Oh, you guys want me to tell you?
Yeah,
Just between us?
Jenkins. That was my guess, Jenkins.
That was your guess?
What do you think?
We'll come back after the break and tell you.
St. James.
Wait, now I'm
That's
not
not a high school,
convinced.
jackass. That's the middle school.
I just threw a name out there.
I'm
thought you
pretty
knew,
sure
Travis.
I'm pretty sure I knew where he went, but now I don't want to guess.
what do you think?
It wasn't Jenkins. I thought it was either Calvary or Country A.
Oh, okay. I was like, it was like high school. I was like,
For y'all's purposes, that's pretty much
yeah, okay.
same thing, right?
Well, people listening, they're in Connecticut. It doesn't matter. But so you enjoyed the interview?
Studwell.
So,
Oh,
yeah.
dude, I really did, and like I was gonna listen. I mean, I watch you guys and listen every week, but I wanted to watch it too because I do think that's a different vibe. Like I've interviewed him twice, not in person though. And you guys, have y'all ever even done like a remote interview?
Yeah, we did one with the tipped finance.
Y'all really
girl.
don't like it, do you?
I didn't mind it.
She was in New York. We had no option.
Yeah, we couldn't have her in studio because she lived in New York. I mean, it was a positive experience on our side. I was worried about the tech part of it, about us sounding good and and keeping the internet connection going and all that stuff, which worked out fine.
Yeah, it's a way better product that you like. I had him on. I was trying to get him on as quick as possible post Orange Crush,
Right.
and he was down for that.
And that was the last time you were on our podcast was Orange Crush, right?
Was I think the week
think it
before
was-
or the week after?
was
So that would have been
really
last. That would have been this past April. So
Yeah.
I have it written down. Episode 114,
May 2nd.
May 2nd. Yeah,
May 2nd. Right. April, Orange Crush into April. And I'm just saying.
stats guy.
Orange is ugly.
Other notes from the Brian West interview. The wine play was strong on his part. I thought to come with because that's an important decision you got to make. He can't be drinking like a natural light out of a koozie, right?
All right, do it.
But is that Tybee?
I tell you what.
Or is like wine Tybee?
I brought the wine, but we asked him what he wanted to drink, and he said wine is good.
Now
And then he said something else.
he needs to change that though. That's not very Tybee.
He also said vodka, ice, olive.
Tybee.
Well, ice.
And then he
Well, yeah, I guess. Well,
And then which erased which erased every previous answer he gave to Paxton. Even if Paxton sent me the
He's a
screenshot
unicorn,
of the text, he said, "What, Paxton?"
his last text to me was, "Or wild turkey on ice is good."
And Paxton goes, "I'm getting this a bullet." And I'm like, "What about?" He goes, "Well, I mean, it's just because it's wine." I'm like, "He said vodka on the rocks with an olive." That thing that I like.
When you say boulet, what do you say?
I say bouillet.
You're talking about bullet.
Bullet, yeah, of course.
You were today years old, huh?
I never knew that.
Today years old.
We got a new Kelly over here.
Yeah.
Man. You heard about Bud Light?
Yeah, it's a good drink.
I have some Kelly notes as well.
Yes, we have to
Let's
get
I
to
have some
that.
notes. I don't know if you is that. Do people bring notes sometimes?
We have Kelly. You had a mic, right? You have a mic. You have your mic, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Brian
Okay.
West had wine, but I got notes.
He's got notes for Kelly notes.
Take this. First off, props to Kelly because he's just the unsung hero. People that don't come in and see you guys behind the scenes, this guy is the real MVP.
Oh, stop.
Makes your job real easy. But I will say that, like, I've noticed that there, in sports, there's always a guy pushing you, like the second string guy is coming for your job. He could pretty much coast, and there's not really a guy coming to take his. I mean, am I right about this?
You're right about that.
There have
yeah.
been some offers, but not
So
any
Kelly,
viable candidates.
Kelly, between you and I think you need to figure out your terms here because you have what is called leverage, pal. In this situation, from the way I
They've had
see
plenty
it,
of guest producers come on who do just fine. So,
No.
from the way I see
Kelly.
it, you're the star here.
well, thank you.
I had a nightmare not long ago, speaking of this, where Kelly was like, "I'm moving to New Orleans and you can't do nothing about it." And I was like, "Kelly, what
That's a
did I
strong
do?
statement.
Did I do something?
Oh,
We
God.
can't lose you, buddy."
And why are you moving to New Orleans?
And then I sit over there in the producer.
No chance he'd make it.
I sit over there in the producer's chair while you guys are doing hot grits. I'm forgetting to hit buttons and switch the cameras.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm
you left at
lost.
one point.
I'm lost over here.
Yeah, we can take a hint. He left in the middle of your fantasy
kind of you to
football
say.
saga.
Yeah, my fancy football thing. He was like, "I'm out of here." If you guys want to hear discussions we're making references to, I'm going to be on episode 187,
172.
172. I was
Close
close.
enough.
187. I wanted to kill myself there for a
Well,
minute.
I had the Run P app whenever I knew you guys were talking about.
Run
That's
PM.
a callback. That's the app I use with the movie theater to know when to go pee during movies. Somebody sees the movie first, and they have 3 or 4 different times to go pee. Yeah, but not much. Just take the ice tube. No, go ahead. Here, have it.
Wait, what happens when I gotta go pee?
So if you have to go pee, it basically tells you like the line before you go, and while you're in the bathroom, you can read a synopsis of what's happening while you're gone.
That's great.
They find like one of the least interesting
I think we
parts
gotta
of
bring
the.
So all right,
a little bit, but like we're
did you see
there.
Guardians of the Galaxy 3?
No.
Okay, crap, it's just me. Let me think of another. I'm trying to think of another pee break I can remember during a movie because that was in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. It goes, "This is the best time to go because you're not going to miss anything relevant to the movie. It's going to hurt you." But it was the first time they said "fuck" in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I missed the first.
miss.
That's a pretty big
huge.
miss. It's a pretty big miss. But
It's like missing
like
Kate
Kelly just missed
Winslet's
his
tits in
microphone over there.
Titanic.
That was a pretty big miss.
There you go.
It's too bad you can't watch it
Kelly,
anywhere
I
else.
just hyped you up.
I cried every time. All 3 times I've watched it, I've cried. But speaking of crying, I'm not speaking of crying at all. I want to give a shout out real quick to Bailey from Made by Bailey. Check out her cool-ass earrings. I'm not wearing any right now. But I tried to get her in the first half, and I could not find a segue on this one. So I cry with tears of joy of how nice her earrings are. This bullet.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
I've
come to cry.
Travis, did you have some notes on
Well, hold on. But let's get on Kelly real quick.
I got notes,
because,
dude. I don't know.
because he almost divulged something in the break that I wanted to be on the podcast. Because Kelly, I've got a 44-pound bag of dog food for you in the trunk of Travis's car
Nice.
for your boy Martin.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
But that's why I was like, don't bring it up. And then he was like, because Travis goes, how much does it weigh?
I go, you think I can carry this? How much do you think it weighs?
And I just said it's a 44-pound bag of
And the
dog
numbers
food.
44 and the letters
On top.
LB couldn't have been a bigger font.
was like,
Huge, huge.
all right.
44 pounds. And I go,
All right.
how much do you think this guy weighs?
Yeah, 21 kilograms. Was that what you needed?
Let's be here.
2 stone?
Lift with your back.
Look, I'm looking forward to the Francis and God
A stone is actually 60.3
A final
pounds.
Kelly note is that I think he deserves, or I think maybe it's a thought, that he should be handing out letter grades or some sort of grading system on the episode that just happened.
Like at the end of it, we've done that a few times.
We've
But
done
Kelly,
that.
how'd you do?
Like the final word that is
What do you
said
pick
is
through,
like
Kelly?
either it's like, I don't know if you go letter grade or go, you got to have an obscure scale though. Like,
I think it could change every
I
time.
think you go 1 through 5 Funyuns. 5.0 Funyuns, best episode ever. But then you could go like 1.77 Funyuns. And then outro music.
It
Not
goes,
a great showing. Like
It goes combos, Funyuns, Cheez-Its, whatever his tier list
That
is.
goddamn Chex Mix from last week was the fire.
Yeah, that
when
was pretty
when
good.
he brought the
It was-
garbage
it was-
bag
it was-
of
it was
non-chips
Chex-
to the chip draft.
All
Yes.
non-chips to the chip
That,
draft.
you were here for the chip
Well,
draft
somebody,
last.
who brought
Yeah,
cheesy
the legend.
poops?
Who could forget the chip draft of
Did you bring
23?
cheesy
dude?
So I false flagged with Cheesy Poops. I actually had.
That's not a chip
Greatest
by any
content.
stretch of the imagination.
But no, I had Pringles.
That's not
and
a
then
chip-
I had
that's
Cheesy
not a
Poops
chip
in the
either.
Pringles can, so I
That's
did.
not a
I was
chip
wrong.
either.
Boy, Kelly,
Are we going to revisit the chip thing?
We done fired it
I'll
up.
fight about this
It's a
chip.
crisp.
Let's not chip it out.
Let's not chip
get
it out.
chippy.
We got a lot.
Pringles had to change their name. It's not a potato chip. It's potato crisp.
Oh,
By definition.
Hey,
Very
he is
English of
definitely
them.
potato chip
False
Kelly.
advertising.
So, you know what but this contentious behavior reminds me of? You hand me that thing right there.
What does it remind you of?
Throw that thing to me.
It's the Karen of the week.
You don't know how many things were over there that he said, hand me that thing, and I knew, and I go, it's the head of hair.
Hand me that thing.
Give me the shovel.
Oh shit!
Is it a mullet?
It's a mullet
It's a
now.
Canadian waterfall. 'Cause I've got 2 tonight. Paxton doesn't have one, but I'm just going to dive right into these goddamn French Canuck bastards. Apparently, I'm working at Circa again, not at a place on River Street with rocks and shit, because 2 adults and their son from Quebec, they're all from Quebec, sit down with their son. Their son is here on the Savannah Ghost Pirates hockey team.
Lame.
Yeah, lame in general.
Hockey lame.
Very French Canadian.
They start speaking to me in French immediately. Parlez-vous français? I was like, I don't speak French. They get frustrated at this not French restaurant that I don't speak French. And I wanted to go, guess what you got? The most French-speaking person in the entire building, and I'm not that good at it. I know food, wine, and a little bit of French, but I'm not going to placate you.
Win one war on your own. That's
Yeah,
what I would say. Just
exactly.
win one
Just
war.
win war,
without-
one or-
you guys have never won a war without us. Never.
Yeah.
They couldn't muddle a victory. if they
Not in
tried.
their dreams. Not in
You know,
their
this isn't
wild.
hockey, and that's on ice. So they get a little upset about that. Then, as the French Canadians can do, you don't have bread? Oh. And they're mad at me because, I'm the one that does all the ordering
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
restaurant.
You make the bread.
And then, well, you have it with escargot. Like, well, we want some of that bread. I'm like, order the escargot then. I'm not going to placate them. Like, they've already gotten what, and the poor son's over there just like, Mom, Dad, shut the.
I wish we were at Tim Hortons.
And like, usually French sounds very, very attractive.
Holy
the way he was
nerd.
talking to them was not sexy. He was just like, he's berating them in French Canadian. So, it's not that French Canadians are the biggest assholes on the planet, because they are. Because their son goes, tip him 20%, and his mom goes, they don't have bread, no. And proceeds to tip me $10 on 140 because the place I worked didn't order an item she wanted that I have no control over.
How did you hear her? She said that? Like, where you
I'm standing at the table next to them so I can hear her talking because I can do more than 2 things at once.
So she can speak English
you
good
can.
enough to say, I'm not tipping him.
the son
Yeah,
says
oui, oui.
20% in English, and she says, I'm not giving him that. They don't have bread.
How old was the son? Ish?
22, 23.
See, there's hope for Canada. I mean,
Yeah, that's why he moved to Savannah to play ice hockey.
well, hey, dude, he's got to get away and start. Don't judge him on his parents.
I'm going to Quebec for beach volleyball next month.
Did he have a
Yeah,
mouthful
dude.
of teeth?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. He's
But he probably is not very good at hockey. Then.
That's what I'm saying. He's not a goon.
Well, don't worry. I was like, well, this is going to be the end of this. This is my Karen and Aaron Parents of the Week. And I was like, let me get you here. So I have a 5-top coming at the end of the night. They're there because their daughter got married the day before in Ellis Square. Not cheap. It's one of the nicer squares in Savannah. It's like right in the heart of downtown. Don't worry. It's not cheap because they brought it up about 15 times.
Top 4 square.
Yeah, top 4 square for sure. Ooh, take that. And so they complained about that multiple times. The father orders an unsweet tea.
Also your fault that Ellis Square is expensive.
It's that's my fault. I actually named it.
Yeah.
I built it, and it was crazy.
It's on you.
And so in comes the bride and the groom, and then the groom's best man. The groom's best man had a few old fashions before he came in the restaurant. That's fine.
Hell yeah.
It's the end of the night. I'm going to try to make them have a good time, even though mom's in a bad mood because of she's alive. And I said, hey, you guys should try the fried green tomatoes. The now son-in-law goes, oh, yeah, those are good. I'm like, look, they're good here. The mom goes, I don't like those. I'm like, no, they're almost as good as my mom. She goes, anyone that likes them is disgusting.
This guy's got to get out of that marriage immediately.
So she's now been rude to me and just insulted my mother. Now, if you don't know me, I don't take kindly to that, as nobody does in the South. Is it the gentleman next to me who's from the South? The look on his face was like, uh-oh.
Now what?
Oh, boy.
And so I just went, okay, and I walked away. I come back to get the appetizer order. Hey, guys, you want to get some apps? I know you don't want fried green tomatoes, or she's going to get mad. Well, that didn't help. Because, but son-in-law
I was about
and
to say,
groom,
son-in-law?
Son-in-law and best man,
A little
dying.
oh, yes.
They're dying. Daughter, hearty chuckle, but like the look from mom and all of them.
Reserved Chuck, yeah.
Yeah, the look at mom and all of them. Father looks down. She gives the death look to new son-in-law, best man. Best man don't get shit. He don't get damn. He's
He's
a few.
gone,
He ain't
son.
in the family.
That was funny as shit.
And then I'm like, okay, he's being cool. He orders a nice bottle of wine. I'm like, a pretty good bottle of wine. I'm like, actually, get this one. It's $5 cheaper. It's a much better bottle of wine. Oh, thank you so much. Get him on this Sauvignon Blanc. He goes, oh, I think we're done with this. I think this is when I think the table's taken a turn. He hands me the dessert list wine menu. He's got his credit card on the front side of it, so only I can see it, and goes, hey, we're done with this.
Yo.
Smooth move.
I don't think I've seen that one.
I like that move. I've seen it once or twice, but it's a good move.
And that's a fine line, dude, because you can become the douchebag.
Yeah, but here's the thing. With the behavior of everybody else at the table, I'm like, thank fucking
Low bar,
God.
though.
Low bar. This guy's got it. All right, I'm good. Now he finishes his second strong cocktail and then the wine. He's got 4 glasses in front of him.
Let's go.
They get through the apps. They ordered 5 entrees for 5 people, or 4 entrees for 5 people. So I bring out an extra plate, and I put it down in front of one person, and they go, here you go. And they're like, oh, no, we want, put the food in the middle. We want everyone to get the plate. We don't do that. It's been told directly by general management. We do not do that because we don't have the plates for that, and we don't have the space on the table for that. And I said, hey, we don't have space on this table for all these plates. And Mom goes, I'm a mother. I know how to make things fit on the table. I'll take care of it. I'm like, well, you haven't worked here before. You don't know how big our plates are, so it's not going to fit. Unless I give you tiny plates. She goes, we'll make it work. Just do it.
Yeah, you're a bad mom.
I don't like just do it. So I smile and go, you know what? I'm not letting this bitch get under my skin.
Content.
Went and got content. Back to the earlier topic. So I go back to the back. I go, hey guys, can you plate this up on smaller plates for me? And give them all 5 medium-sized plates. So I'm going to make this work. I come back and go, hey guys, we're going to have to make room here. Like consolidate everything, do what you can. Groom and best man start helping me out. Everybody else is just kind of sitting there.
Because now they're probably starting to feel awkward. Like they're probably like, this is embarrassing as shit.
Thank God they were drunk. So I, bring out the plates. I bake it, and it barely fits. Like their plates are hanging off the table, and the mom goes, see, it fits. And I was like, yes, ma'am, I had them put it on smaller plates, so this would work out for you. I'm just being a smart ass at this point. So I bring the food out. The guy who handed me the credit card, the best man, gets up and walks off. He's gone for like 2 minutes. I'm like, where did this guy go? So I walk out front. He's out there talking to my manager. He tells my manager, and he's like stumbling in place. Look, I know this guy's trying his best, but it's not good enough. We wanted this to be a special night. It should have been a special occasion. Y'all should have had flowers on the table. He's complaining about nothing that was in the goddamn notes for the table.
Wait, the guy that had the card behind?
Yeah, it's now fuck
He
this guy
turned
now.
on you.
He turned on me. He turned on me.
Fucking
The devil in a blue dress.
The heel.
Turncoat.
What?
What was that?
Probably French.
Oh, is that my camera? That's fine. So I'm like, all right. The manager's like, I was like, look, why don't we get him a couple desserts? He's like, that's fine. So I go back there. How's everything going? And I'm still trying to be nice. I've already brought them extra sauce. I've gone above and beyond for them anyways.
I'm surprised you even offered the desserts, but sorry.
So and he goes, nope, just the check. And I go, oh, okay. Would you like some boxes for the rest of this food? And the mom goes, just leave it. I go, I'm going to take these 2 plates. And the boys go, take our plates. I go, well, hold on. They're fork on the plate. I'm going to leave the forks in case you guys need to help the ladies out. And I pick up the plates, sliding the forks onto their placemat. Take those away. I come back. But the manager's like, well, they want dessert. I'm like, no. He goes, well, what's this comp an app or two? So the bill goes from $267 to $227. I come back, get the check.
That's a reasonable.
That's a pretty substantial.
That's a win for them.
The guy who married to this shit family he'll be out of in 2 weeks, I hope, goes, at least give him $40 or something. So I'm like, all right, I've heard 2 tips tonight. This one's not going to go well. 0. Oh, $227. So now I'm paying, because I got to tip out. I'm paying to wait on this fucking table. So like, you know what? Fine. Let him go. I'm closing up.
I hope
If
they
the
stay
closer
married
in
forever.
this restaurant, it's my job. I hope that their daughter gets pregnant tomorrow and he leaves her
Yes.
the next day. She
never finds love.
She looked pregnant anyways. So,
Probably the
if you're
dress.
closer, it's your job to lock the door when the last table leaves. Last 2 people leave the bar. I'm doing some other shit. I don't lock it. I look up, and guess who's back on the escalator? It's Mom.
Oh, I thought it was
She's
the French people.
The French come back again.
I was about to say, I'm out. I'm
The
out.
French would have retreated by
They
now.
never expect the Canadian Inquisition.
These people were, I got France and Spain attacked me this day 'cause these people were Spanish. So
When
she
an unmovable force.
She comes back in to complain. She wants to talk to the manager now. And the server who's talking to her looks at me like, should we? I'm like, yes.
Poor manager.
The forks.
Jesus.
She brings up that I slammed the silverware down on the table.
Oh, God.
And the manager's like, he's a nice guy. He's listening to her talk. He comes to me and goes, I go, let's talk about this now. He goes, well, just do it tomorrow. I'm like, I don't want to open my shift tomorrow with this nonsense. He tells me that part. I argue with her about plates fitting on the table. And he's like, well, you should do that. I'm like, hold on. Went in the kitchen, grabbed a bunch of plates, came out there, was like, look at this. And he's like, oh my God, it's a mess. I'm like, yes, we don't do this for a reason. I've been told by upper management not to do it for a reason.
Isn't that literally the protocol where you don't bring out?
Extra plate. Everybody gets 1 plate, and they can share on that plate. But we don't have enough. If we have 180 people in the restaurant at one time, if 20 of them want to do that, now we're getting double plates per table. We don't have that kind of plates. No one has that kind of shit laying around. Unless you go to Paula Dean's or somewhere that's a family-style restaurant.
I cannot imagine, like...
So it says that I argue with her, and I'm just like, okay. Look, I said, pull up, and that I spilled tea on her husband twice. And I directly remember pouring the pitcher, backhanding the daughter, and doing it. But, I shouldn't backhand her. So I did the other way the next time with my other hand, going around a human. So I can't spill tea on him from over there.
She said you spilled tea on him
Tea
twice?
on her husband twice. I did pour it twice, but I think it just maybe he spilled on himself. I don't know. They were all
Oh, there was a stain, though.
So I guess. At that point I go, pull up the fucking cameras.
Yes.
Pull up the cameras right now. I say, mark this time. They weren't here from the time they left. Fucking corporate can pull it up and look at this and see it. They're lying about this line, but the whole thing. He goes, it's a good point. Next day I come into work, go up to GM, like, hey, what about last night? She goes, you're fine. Don't worry about it ever again.
Film never lies, dude.
And I went, well, I got content for it.
Check the tape.
Check the
Go to the
tape.
replay.
Check the tape.
I can't believe, like, the amount of effort.
They went to try to shit on my night.
Like, yeah, that's
It takes
just,
so
like,
much more effort. Now, even if, all right,
What a shitty life.
Now, I don't know that she knew this, that the best man came back and complained because he went outside and did it. And him, when he stumbled out of the restaurant.
But they just had a wedding.
Yeah.
They should be,
But
like,
it was
in the
expensive.
greatest mood of all time.
doesn't the groom's or the bride's dad pay for the wedding? Typically,
Oh, man.
Traditionally, yeah, traditionally.
There is, like, usually.
Yeah, so this was the bride's
Rehearsal
dad.
dinner
This was the
is one
bride's
of them.
family.
okay, I gotcha.
Rehearsal
so,
dinner.
Rehearsal dinners for the.
So
for
was
the-
there
the groom.
a subsequent like Yelp post or anything like that?
Not yet. I don't check that shit. I don't care.
Oh, I never think about that. So is that something you do? Like, do people go back?
When I worked at Circa, I always check them all the time because it was such a smaller sample size.
I never check. I ran into one of my own one time. I was looking for menus on like Facebook or something, and I've said it on the podcast before, but we have new listeners every week. But I was looking for a menu, and this review came up. It goes, "We went to Huckapoo's, and it was Memorial Day or some holiday like that." And this guy came up to me. He's like, "Hey, we're trying to get a table." I was like, "Look, it's real busy, and it's first come, first serve. We don't have a host or a hostess." And he goes, "Okay." He walks away. 5 minutes later, he comes back, asks the same question. I was like, "Look, man, we're busy.
Still the same
You
day.
you just gotta, I tried to joke with him. I was like, keep your head on a swivel. I want you to go around. If you see a table open, and if they're not leaving, just go stand over them.
Just be aggressive.
Yeah,
be aggressive.
yeah. He didn't think it was funny. He goes away. He comes back with his baby in his arm, thinking that's going to change something.
Gerber baby.
Glad I wasn't there.
Asked me the same question. I was like, figure it out, dude.
Dude, build your own table, dude. Bring a lunchbox.
He's got 4 milk crates.
So the review, and I'd only just ran into it, not because I was looking for it, but it said, we went.
believe you.
We went to Huckapoo's, and we went up to the fat bartender with the big ear holes.
Oh, come on.
That's
unfair.
Damn, how did John Greenberg react to that?
He doesn't have big ear holes.
That's not fair.
Kelly, do it. Wait, Kelly, can't get them sound. He just got the mic.
Well, this guy clearly couldn't see it at all. This guy's blind as shit.
The fat one with the
Did you have
big.
your headphones on?
I had the big gauges.
Yeah,
in,
I
right?
You're big boned or husky. You're not fat, dude.
The fat one with the big ear holes told me to figure it out, dude. And guess what? I figured it out and went back to Kenosha, Wisconsin, or wherever.
Damn,
the
he
fuck.
left, got on the plane and took off.
Yeah, like
Did he get on the plane and was like, I need to upgrade? And they're like, no. He's like, but my baby.
Plenty of tables in Wisconsin, I'm betting.
Yeah.
Well, and it reminds.
Right next to Canada.
I meant to talk about. I
that
meant to talk about
sucks.
this last week with Brian, but speaking of I don't do any online reviews for anything unless it's like ultra positive. I don't even think I've done one of those.
I do when they're good. Like I try to restaurants I placate a lot.
Yeah.
Like Shotgun Missioner's probably got 10 reviews for me on Grubhub.
Oh, yeah,
for being
I've
like,
written
the best,
one.
the best, the best.
I've written probably. I think I've written one that's more than like. Sometimes I'll go and do like 5 stars, or like
Great-
sometimes
great
I
service.
will go and do like. I'll put my name by a 0-star rating if I genuinely got fucked somehow.
Sure, yeah.
But if you Googled actually like Marco's Pizza in Berwick, like you will see what I am still proud of, like a well-crafted explanation of my night of trying to get pizza from Marco's Pizza, and like I was so pissed, dude. But I still go back and read it sometimes. That I was so pissed and so hungry, and I didn't have a car, and it was during the pandemic, and I lived out like by Henderson, so like
So this is like a 30-minute drive.
11:30 at night, no car, COVID.
Just to
nothing
remind
open.
yourself how good you are at pros, you're like, oh, that was well. That
I
was
said, well, dude,
crafted.
nothing opens for 9 more hours. I'm about to bang this thing out and get somebody fired somehow.
I've been hungry too.
I still have like a $20 credit there, but
I'm gonna call and use your name.
but I've had a couple of people like this was in
that credit comes
2020.
with diarrhea though.
But it was getting into that because when I was interviewing the council candidates, one of the main questions was comment sections, especially political comment sections on like Facebook, wherever. It is just the dregs of society. It's nothing gets accomplished there. And it reminded me, I don't comment on negatively on anything because the pointlessness of it. And the exact example that I remember is, it was probably like 10 years ago. I was watching this video on a huge YouTube channel. It's called Eater, right? And they have this guy who reviews like steakhouses and burger places. But he's got a speech impediment where he can't say burger. He says bogle,
Oh, come on.
right?
Make fun of people with speech problems.
So in the comments, I was like, "Oh, you guys got the guy that can't pronounce burger to review burgers."
Yeah.
This giant YouTube channel, out of 2,000 comments that were on that thing, the giant YouTube channel was like, "Yeah, you got us, buddy. Well done."
They replied.
They
That hurt.
replied
That hurt,
to,
huh?
"Bruh, it cut me so." I was like, "I wasted my time
You're
being
like, I
a."
was just shitting, like going through Instagram and like I
Unsubscribe.
didn't mean to.
No, I didn't unsubscribe.
You said take me back.
I was
Really?
like, I was being a little shithead, worthless. Why comment something like that? Why be?
Why do you still make fun of people who can't pronounce things correctly?
That's called a callback.
That
right there.
is a callback.
But you're my friend, though.
Speaking of calls, we've got
Callback
our.
of the week.
We've got our last call. I don't have one. I
Sing
didn't
it.
get a chance to put it in. Oh yeah, it's the last call. They call it last call.
I hope you just made that one up.
Get your drinks in. Put them in your stomach or your mouth. This is the last call. A mouth is a mouth.
Oh, well, hey, it is.
That's what's called improvising. right there.
Yeah. So our last call, Travis proposed a question to me.
What's his last name?
Jaudon. It's pretty close, right?
That's right.
Hey,
French, by the way,
Yeah,
unrelated.
French. Not French Canadian.
Unrelated. Yeah.
Not
I
Canadian French.
hate hockey.
You know why? We raised nowhere near ice.
But you love LeBron James. I know that for
Yeah, because he skates into these DMs. Anyway, so
right into the
Just a kid from
propose a
Akron.
question.
Just a kid from Akron.
4 guests you would like us to have on the podcast, right?
Yeah, and I'll be honest. I didn't tell you guys this. I'm a little hesitant just based off of like.
Where the hell this has gone?
Yeah.
This car drove way off the road a long time ago.
Well, and
We
also
were from
like,
Canada to Spain. I mean, and they were Spanish. They were Mexican. Let's just get that out of the way.
so yeah, in my show prep, I was just going through some impromptu top 4s, and I was like, all right, top 4, like interviews that I would be most like pumped to see,
Okay.
like on the feed,
And
on Tuesdays, like
And I've got one for you.
specifically for you guys.
I've got
right?
4
Right,
for you.
gotcha.
We got 4 for you. So why don't you start off?
So, and everyone's top. It's like snowflakes. Everyone's top 4, different, unique.
Yeah.
It's your own top 4. No specific order. The first person I would have asked for is Spec Hossie.
Hosty?
Hosty.
Spec Hosty?
Hosty. Because I got to know more about this guy. Just he seems like an interesting character.
Just because of his name?
No.
Because of his
But I just think
transportation methods?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. He repairs golf carts, so
Well,
yeah.
and I mean, and the name. There's a lot of questions there. Like, I think he would be a
So
good
you
interview.
You remember Vinny, our old producer?
Yeah.
That's his uncle.
Really? Mm-hmm. I didn't remember. Was Vinny one of the first? Was he the first like co-host on here?
I was the first. No, that was
What was
Alex. Alex. So
And he was the.
I'd like to
he was
have
the first-
Alex. I'd
he
like
was the
to have
first
Alex
producer
back.
we had. He was
I
the
want
first.
Alex back for like
Alex
200.
back. Okay.
For like episode 200 or something.
He won't show up. Yeah, that's good.
No, he will. Yeah.
Okay.
That would be classic.
All right, so
Al.
that's 2 guests, Spec, Hosty, and Alex. I'd like to give you 2 here. All right, so
Okay,
we
okay.
do this together. Sean, the coach at Savannah State, now coaches at West Virginia.
Oh yeah, Sean Quinn.
Sean Quinn, did you ever interview Sean Quinn?
Oh yeah, we became pretty. I was on the Savannah, not on the podcast.
Oh, okay. Good.
No, I didn't
So,
have the podcast at that point.
I'd
but-
like him. And then this is a big one. This is, I think, our biggest one. Eric Thomas, the owner of Huckapoos.
Oh, dude, he would be great.
Well, yeah, I mean, he coaches soccer and football. Like, he's a big sports guy.
Well, and I've interviewed him before, and like, it's different when you interview someone for a story because the audio is just a non-fact. No one's gonna hear it.
We got to do
besides-
our research because he's already.
Well, no, but none of these
No,
are on his
no, no,
podcast.
no, but
None
like
on
the podcast-
Okay,
These are
gotcha.
That's what I was talking about with
periodical.
Brian. Like the way you guys did it is like
We have a studio. You could interview Eric.
that is like you
Or
get just so much more, or you can just go so many different directions.
Well, yeah, because you have time to. You know.
Yeah, and it's not about you. Like it's about like the people that came your one-on-one interviews. Like if you one-on-one interview Brian West, like I don't know that you get more out of it. Does that make sense? But
Yeah,
like,
it does, but the intention of any of them isn't necessarily mining for info or content.
yeah, I guess
that
it
doesn't intrigue me at all. I want to be a proxy for. I want us to be a proxy for just getting to know someone personally.
yeah, and I guess there are like interviewing and guests are different. I guess,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Because like Alex wouldn't be an interview.
yeah, you just be
It'd
a
be a
guest. Yeah, what's there to interview about? And like, yeah,
Damn, that was kind of cold. All right, so you got 2 more?
Give me roommate Trav. I need roommate Trav in front of the mic.
knew it. I
He needs to have his day in court. This guy deserves better.
We don't have enough tape. We
better
don't have
than what
enough
he's
tape.
gotten. Never met him. He deserves better.
And in
Guys,
fact, he said he asked Travis to leave tonight, so he wouldn't
let
be
the
here to meet him.
audience decide whether they hate him or not.
Oh no one's gonna hate him.
Whether
No,
they
that's
love
Well,
him
no
or
one
not.
listen to him.
Whether maybe he runs for mayor.
Well, the
2028.
episode title is Real Talk. We gotta get that out the way right now.
you know what he doesn't do anymore?
Who?
Real Travis,
Roommate Trav.
roommate Trav. He doesn't real talk anymore.
No.
I don't believe any of this.
I'm telling you, he and I were
Doesn't
talking.
sound like the Trav
It's
I
been a
know.
while.
Lies
Been
and
a
He and I
while.
were talking last night, and he was like,
Lies.
every time I go out somewhere, people want me to real talk him, and I'm like, I'm done with that shit. And I think he's right. I think he's telling the truth.
Well, this is not real talk from Facts Over Here. This is false talk. Okay.
Fake news.
All right.
Fake talk.
Matt.
Matt Stanek. He, I don't know if he lives on Tybee now, but he's in the friend group with Brian West and them. But he was a defensive lineman at Mississippi State,
Oh.
and he's a super cool dude.
I've never met him. I
Yeah.
know you're. How do you pronounce his last name?
Stanek, Stanic.
Yeah. I mean, I can see it in my. Yeah. Where did
Yeah.
he go to?
Mississippi State, I believe.
Yeah. Man, I haven't thought about him in a while.
Me either.
Is he in Savannah?
Yeah, he's in Savannah. I saw him Saturday night.
Yeah, he's a.
I'm down to interview these
That's dope.
people for
That guy
sure.
right there.
I think.
He he's lost some weight.
I'm tall, but I have to jump up to hug him.
See,
And
Yeah.
he's a really warm hug too.
You're
I'll
not.
tell you that.
you're not. You can't be described as a fat bartender. That. If he was a bartender instead of a football player, Stanek.
There goes the interview.
No.
There's him and Uckapoos right there.
Stanek, great lineman.
Yeah.
Did he play line?
Yeah.
Yeah,
same
D-line.
line.
Great lineman.
He wasn't
Great.
a lineman for the county.
And it was all
Offensive
muscle.
lineman, 6'3", 310. All right. That's Trav.
The fourth and final one?
Yeah.
Wait, so who are y'all's for me?
We're not giving you the last one yet. You got to go.
Oh, you're at 3?
We're at 3.
All right, well, I have 2. But I think there's a shot that you guys say one of the ones that I'm going to say.
Nope.
Okay, there's no
There's
shot?
no chance.
Oh, I don't know who the fourth one is
Yeah,
for
you do.
us. Oh, I do. We just haven't discussed it. But okay.
Yeah. We did. Do you remember this in a minute? It'd be great. Go ahead.
I don't. Y'all aren't going to go first?
No, you have 2. We have 1. And we're just killing people right now. Let's go. Come on.
Well, I wanted y'all to get somebody from the Bananas because,
That's a good idea.
well, I think Tybee and the Bananas are going to be linked to each other in the news soon.
I know a guy.
I don't. And
That's
we,
a little nugget
We
for
just
you
alienated
guys.
the Ghost Pirates. So,
I know a guy.
okay.
That's a good idea.
My dad knows Jesse pretty well. Season ticket holder, Carl.
I know a guy.
All right.
You should involve somebody from the Bananas.
Our last one's one you can't
But-
do, but we wish you could. Would have been
Okay.
the mailman, Chris Wessling. We talked about that.
We did.
Oh,
RIP,
yeah.
That would have been.
That
That
would
guy
have been.
sounds like a legend.
And he would
I
have
mean,
done
he
it.
was on
too.
network, you know, he was a legend.
And he would have done it.
and he would have done it for us. So.
Who's the mayor that you guys always talk about? Jimmy?
Buelterman?
Jason Buelterman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who
Wasn't that your boy?
Is that your last one? Is that your 5th one?
Huh?
Is that your last one?
Yeah. I want to know.
That's not a bad pull.
I want to
That's not a bad
know. Like, ideally, I would have you guys interview Sean Gillen. But I don't know about the status of his health, and he's obviously not in this role
And
anymore.
if you're not in good health, you don't want me to talk to you too much.
Well, yeah, and I know how you feel about him. But I like, nothing ever happened about that. Like, that rule
Well,
is
no, you
still
got-
just sitting there. Like, it sort of.
And he.
That lady left. The noise lady left. She moved.
But, like, a city
We won.
manager 50 years from now can write another letter and just, like, create another.
And he just doesn't didn't.
I know, like, it wouldn't. I'm talking about, like,
Oh, for
I would want to see
just
it.
for you.
Like,
Yeah, for you
like,
as a
You and
listener,
19
yeah.
people would love this one.
Well, it would just be, he would just be so out of his element. Couldn't get more opposite than Brian West.
So, speaking of opposite, we're going to do it. Maybe we're going to squeeze out a Patreon here.
We might
It's
could
getting a
squeeze
little
out a
late.
paper. Yeah, it's getting a little late.
And Kelly's. It's past
Oh, I have one more
bedtime.
question. I'm sorry. The lighthouse situation on Tybee. Are we pro lighthouse?
Oh.
Is that? Did you guys take a stance on
Not
that?
the establishment, the structure.
Wasn't there lighthouse drama?
I have no idea.
We'll table that. That's homework assignment. I think we saved a globe in Savannah, and I'm just offering if there's,
That's just something we don't know about, I guess.
or if we
I don't
want
know
to,
about it
or
at
if we
all.
want to tear the lighthouse down. I think I
no,
would
I
be-
don't tear the lighthouse down.
Either way,
Cotsford Lighthouse?
let's look into it. Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
They're refurbishing it right now.
Save
there was, like,
Lighthouse.
drama. We're pro Lighthouse.
I'm on
pro
pro.
Lighthouse.
You ever think about
I'm
it?
anti-ships crashing.
Is it good for the turtles though? I don't think.
Well, it's not, they're not going to tear it down and rebuild it. They're going to refurbish it.
No, that's the straws. Like wrappers and stuff are bad for turtles.
Yeah,
were-
all
you-
rappers are. Puff
you were-
Daddy, the worst guy for turtles.
Oh, dude,
You
don't
were
get
pro
me started.
You were pro Globe, and the Globe is still there.
Correct. Yeah.
All right, then be pro Lighthouse,
We're pro
and
Lighthouse,
then
yeah.
Hello, pro lighthouse. I will fight for that lighthouse.
All right. Cheers,
we've made our
Lighthouse.
stance. Kelly, how do we do tonight? Give us a grade from Funyuns to combos.
I'll give it a solid B+ tonight, guys. A little
Okay, that's
rambling in
not bad.
moments.
3.5. Yeah.
A little ramble here and there.
I mean,
but
it's been a
a
long day
solid
for
B+.
us boys over
Yeah,
here.
and I'm not
That's
bringing
the
much
thing.
energy to the.
It's you give him a scale and then he rates it using a different metric. On a scale of 1 through 10, I'll
That's
give it
the
a
best.
Funyuns.
That's the thing. Yeah, we've been here for almost 5.5 hours now.
Yes.
Thank you guys for being here,
love you
sticking
guys.
around.
Thank you.
Travis, thank you for
Thank you
being
so
here
much.
with us.
Yeah, I love it down
Listen
here.
to Hot Grits Podcast. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/From Behind the Barcast. Same on Instagram. And if you want to support us on Patreon, it's patreon.com/From Behind the Barcast. We love you.
We're going to talk about night boners resulting in erotic dreams.
Oh, yeah, we're going to do a little short Patreon after this.
Top 4 boners.
See
Top
ya.
4 boners.